Hello YouTube, Brian here. So today I'm coming at you with something a little different, but kind of the same because it's knives. Yeah, I stole that from Seth over at Burn Peak Mountain Bike. Sorry, Seth. Just popped into my head. So this is the reason why I decided to start a knife or a everyday carry YouTube channel. So I get a lot of value and benefit from other people reviewing things on YouTube. I'm a consumer mainly, and the production side has never interested me because I don't want to buy a whole bunch of crap and spend a whole lot of time editing. But in the EDC world, it seems like you can, just get yourself a mat, use your iPhone, get yourself a little light, and go to town. I'm not going to have a whole light setup like I've seen light setups on like Metal Complex's channel and stuff like that. I don't have a room. I just have a little tiny space. So yeah, there's shadows, but I'm fine with that. You guys aren't paying anything. So if you don't like it, then move along. That's what I do when I watch stuff. If I don't like what someone's saying or how their videos are, then I just don't watch them. So I follow a lot of EDC people. I follow Metal Complex, obviously. I follow Nick Shabazz, obviously, Frankie and Bird, Stasa23, the Knife Beater, who else? Erica from Not Your Average EDC. I don't know if I said that or not. And I also follow Cedric and Ada. And I follow Best Damn EDC, and I follow this guy called the Home Slice. So the very first 3 things have happened that made me decide to start a YouTube review channel. So the very first one was over a year ago. Home Slice put out a, whatever you call them, like an open call or whatever, where I've seen these before, where people like say, what's your favorite knife or favorite 3 knives that are red under $25, and then a whole bunch of other YouTubers like take up the challenge, right? And you call out people, and I think he called out Cedric and Ada, but I don't know if they ever made a video. But the call was, what are your I think it was like, what are 2 knives, or what's 1 knife that what would you change about it to make it like better? And then I never really saw anyone go anywhere with that. I mean, maybe other people did, but not the people I follow. So I figured, so that was the first thing. I was like, oh, that'd be cool. I have some opinions on that. I could do that. And then a year went by, and then a couple other things happened more recently that I'll do other videos on. So this is part 1 of why I started a knife channel, or an EDC channel. And this is, I'm picking up the gauntlet, even though no one else picked it up, and Home Slice definitely didn't call me out on it because I didn't even have a channel. But this is some of my 1 fixed blade and 1 folder that are some of my favorite knives that I think with 1 change could be like dynamite, 1 or 2 changes. So here's my opinions. So the first one is the Monterey Bay Knives EWC. This is one of my favorite knives ever. I carry this knife every day in my pocket for like 18 months, I think, 16 or 18 months. I've sharpened it, I don't know, maybe 20 times. It is very dirty. I haven't cleaned it in a while. What I love this knife so much, mainly because Ray Lacanoco is my favorite knife designer, one of my favorite knife designers. I love the neutral ergonomics of it. Like Erica at Not Your Average EDC says, give me a flat stick, and let me determine where to hold on to it. I like that too. I want to be able to hold it wherever I want. And I don't mind that it's a double detent. The blade steel is great. Carbon fiber, I'm a sucker for carbon fiber. This is like a carbon fiber micarta mix that they did. This is probably my favorite of all I have like 5 of them or so that I got kind of used and picked up. You can pick these knives up for, $40 to $60 under what they were new, relatively regularly if you just kind of keep your eye out. And I love it. I do wish that it had a lock. And what I wish they would do is cut a ramp in here, kind of in the middle, and then have a compression lock up here. Not a compression lock, obviously, because that's a Spyderco exclusive, but basically a liner lock, but on the top up here. And I think you could do it. I've had this knife apart many times, and I think you could cut a ramp in there, and I think you could cut a piece of metal in here, and I think that it would work. And what I would propose them doing is selling it with an extra liner, so that you can have it, so the knife would come with 3 liners. So the detent, this is a double detent, and the detent is actually on this liner. So what I think would be cool is if this liner, which is just a piece of metal, came with the knife, came installed on the knife, right? So you have, this tab is still plenty accessible, but you cut a ramp in here. And then it comes with a separate liner in the package. And right now this is called the EWC, for everywhere carry. You could still call it the EWC for like every way carry, or you could call it the EKC for every kind of carry. Whatever you wanted to call it, but I think that would be really cool. And then you could take off this scale, take off this liner, put it back together, and you would have the same knife in a locking variant. And then you could take it off and take it back to here. So the knife could be either lockable or not lockable, depending on what you wanted to do, where you wanted to go, all of that stuff. And I think that would just be like the coolest knife ever, like ever. Yep. This is pretty safe. You know, I can tell you as someone who used this every day for more than a year, that this does break. You know, the detent does break quite regularly, but as Nick Shabazz and others have said, you have enough meat on here, you know, as long as you're not like back here doing something weird, you know, as long as you have a finger under here, you can feel the break very easily and remedy the break. Yeah, so that's my opinion on the folder. So now I have a fixed blade. So I have tried all kinds of fixed blades, and there are 2 pieces of EDC gear that I have tried hundreds of, and now I literally only own one kind of, and that is my fixed blade knife and my wallet. I have found what works for me. It is perfect for me, and I do not need any others, so I got rid of all my others. So I've tried Moras, I've tried Benchmades, I've tried, when I was younger, you know, Gerbers and Fiskars and cheap knives. So this is the Spyderco Bill Moran drop point. They have kind of a Persian-y clip point thingy version of it also. I love this knife. So there are 2 things about it that could be improved. Like I said, as is, it's still a perfect knife for me, or nearly perfect knife for me. The problems aren't big enough for it to not be my only fixed blade. So there's 2 issues that I have with this knife. One is that it is not a full tang. The tang only comes, it's a rat tail tang, and it only comes to about here. So, you know, if you're going to trust your life to this thing in a wilderness situation, then that's a little concerning, because if the handle does break for any reason, you can't fashion your own. It would be very difficult to fashion your own. Not impossible, but, you know, not very pleasant, not very easy. And the other thing is that it's VG10 steel. I don't have any issues with VG10 steel. This knife is, I've sharpened this knife more than any other knife that's not a kitchen knife in my collection. Obviously I have, I lied a little bit to you guys. Obviously I have other fixed blades. I have kitchen knives that are fixed blades. But as far as, oh, and I lied again. So I also do have a self-defense fixed blade, but that's a totally different, different thing. As far as, you know, usable tools, I have one fixed blade. This is it. So VG10 is fine. I've sharpened this knife hundreds of times, and it works. It's easy to sharpen. It holds an edge. It's stainless. It's great. But I would love a variant of this in, like, I don't know, M4, 4V, 3V, something that's like, you know, just tough, just like balls tough, you know, and that would be cool. That said, the handle on this thing is really what does it for me. When you are processing an animal, these ramps right here, the way that it has these ramps means that you can get your finger way up here, and you can kind of put your fingers on here, and you can get in and you can skin the animal easily, and the skin is still usable. You don't have to fist it. Normally when you want to skin an animal and use the hide for something, you fist it. So you kind of get the skin started, and then you pull up the skin and you stick your fist under, and you kind of are clearing out all of the fascia under there. And I find that to be really annoying. I don't like doing it. It's slow. It's not very comfortable. It's pretty, you know, not a very pleasant experience for me. So I am able to get in there like this, kind of fist and cut at the same time. And I'm still able to use the hides for what I want to use them for. So that's why I love this knife so much. And when this handle material is gooey, with anything, you know, water or blood or bile or anything, you still have good purchase on it. It has a finger choil. I just love this knife. So you might say, this knife doesn't look like it's been sharpened, you know, 100 times. You must be lying. Well, that's because this is how I address the problem of the not having a full tang, is that I don't have one of them. I have 3 of them. So these 2 are my newer ones. My oldest one is in my car. I just keep it in my car. And that one has been sharpened. I've had it for probably like 15 years now, and it's been sharpened, yeah, probably, not exaggerating, maybe 60 times, 50, 60 times. So I don't think I've literally sharpened these knives 100 times, but, you know, this one was my next oldest one. I bought this one like maybe 5, 6 years ago, because I was probably illogically worried about the handle breaking. I mean, I have batoned this thing. I have pried things with it. I have cut animals. I have cut wood. I have made bows with it. I have whatever you can think of, and this handle has never even hinted at breaking or whatever. But, you know, they're cheap enough. I think the first one I bought full retail, you know, like 15 years ago, I think it was like $120 or something like that. I think I got this one on eBay for like 65 or something like that. It didn't come with a sheath, so I just, you know, made an offer, and he took it. So I figured, cool, now I have 2 knives, right? Good to go. If one breaks, then I have the other. And then this guy came up. I hadn't seen the orange ones, and it came up, and I think it was like 75 or 80. So I just threw in an offer, and I ended up winning. So this guy's the bonus one. I haven't actually really used this guy at all. This is just kind of sitting in my closet waiting for the day when one of the other ones breaks. Yeah, so that's my thoughts and opinions on this knife. Love this knife. Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, if it was full tang or nearly full tang, you know, if it came out kind of in a shape where if this ever did break off, I could easily fashion like scales. And if it was in a tougher steel, then it would be even super badass. So Spyderco, if you ever see this, this is, in my opinion, the best knife you've ever made. Do a sprint run. You guys love doing sprint runs. Do, like, you know, do whatever sprint run you want of it and change it up a little bit. But yeah, I love it. Love it, love it. Yeah, so that's reason number one why I started a YouTube channel. And thank you, Home Slice, for everything you do. I've gotten lots of good knife information from you, and I'm trying to, give back to the community a little bit. So thank you all. That's my thoughts and opinions. I hope you found it useful or at least entertaining, and I will catch you later.